What's up, guys? My name's Joseph. This is my partner Acacia, and welcome to A Cup of Cinema, where we watch movies and review them the day later with a cup of coffee, usually. But
Yeah,
today we
usually.
don't have coffee.
Yeah. Joseph made some delicious cocktails.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers, babe. Boom. Yeah, so I went to Sobeys. I make this with gin, raspberries, simple syrup, lemon,
Or lime.
or lime, and that's pretty much it. That's all that's in there. 2 ounces of gin per cup, and you don't really taste it, so it's really
so
good.
it's Compass Distillery.
Yeah.
What kind is it? It's the
Um,
purple one.
Yeah, it's purple. It's got honey infused in it, so it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. And they're local, they're close to us, so that's why we use them, and we just really like them. And the
Yeah.
simple syrup was a ginger simple syrup, I think.
The simple syrup was elderflower.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was it.
elderflower. Yeah, it was
Oops,
really
I should
good.
probably know that, but
Yeah, but they turned out pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna be having cocktails because it's nighttime, and
Yeah.
we're a little bit late on reviewing this movie. So
we were supposed to do it last week. So
yeah, a little bit behind.
been
so
super busy.
been super busy. So what's been new? Want to tell the people what's been new in your life? Anything going on lately?
I mean, yeah, but I think we talked about it the last episode, but just
They're like more simple things. Like for me, I've been playing the new Alien game, Alien Dark Descent. Been really fun. Hated it at first, but now I'm kind of liking it. It's just really difficult.
deleted
It's a hard
it
game.
and then re-downloaded it.
Yeah, it's a difficult game. But other than that, I've been playing Fallout 76. And I just shot a music video with a friend. That was a lot of fun. He's just putting it together. So it should be releasing this week. And
It looks
yeah,
really
I've been
good.
keeping busy.
I played Mario Odyssey and beat it.
Nice.
It's pretty easy to beat, but there's a bunch of extra stuff I could do. I don't really know if I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Downloaded Final Fantasy VII, but I don't think I'll play it yet. I'm gonna wait until until we're deep into winter. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do now, but figure it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about 1974's Black Christmas, directed and produced by Bob Clark, which I looked up his movies and stuff, and I think Black Christmas might be his biggest one. I didn't see much. He did a lot of stuff, though.
But he
He's got a really
inspired
big
a lot of
record.
people, it seems.
He did inspire a lot of people. So the budget and profit for this movie, it was shot in Toronto, which I didn't know until I looked it up.
Cool.
But yeah, it was shot in Toronto in
guessed.
1974 on an estimated budget of $686,000, which seems huge for the time
Yeah.
and for the movie. Like there wasn't really $686,000 worth. I didn't see there,
Yeah.
but there were a lot of actors though, and
Yeah,
maybe a
that's
lot of
true.
people on set. And it was distributed by Warner Bros. So that's probably why it was probably a big set of people. You trying to use the most advanced camera technology at the time. In North America,
That's funny to think about.
yeah, eventually grossing $4,053,000. Yeah, it's a big number. Wow, that's a really good profit. So it did very, very well. Do you want to read through the actor list? Is huge. Do you want to
We'll
just try
just
go?
do the main ones, maybe.
Yeah, well, they're all kind of main though.
Yeah, that's true.
Just go by them fast.
Olivia Hussey as Jessica Jess Bradford, Keir Dulley as Peter Smith, Margot Kidder as Barbara Barb Cord, John Saxon.
Okay, you know what?
as
Let's just.
Lieutenant
There's a
Kenneth
lot of them.
Fuller.
Yeah, let's just
Is-
skip it. Maybe there's so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
of them,
it's fine,
and
yeah.
yeah.
You can
there's
look it up online.
Yeah, there's a lot of great actors. And Bob Clark, the director and producer, was actually
Was he someone?
he was a voice actor. He played
The
Billy's shadow and the phone
Oh,
voice
yeah.
as well. So it's pretty cool.
But yeah, some of the actors were actually really good.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of the times with older movies, I don't know what it is, but it seems like older movies just have better acting. Or am
Yeah.
I crazy?
I think it's the acting is better in older movies, and it's not just the acting, but I think the camera placement is just also different, and maybe more nostalgic for us in a way because we
Maybe,
watched it
yeah.
from kids growing up. But there is a difference for a lot of us where the acting was
Yeah,
better back
the
in the day.
actors in this movie were great.
Yeah, I liked all the
really
actors. I
good.
thought they were good, and again, the camera movements are very subtle as well, and I think we vibe more with the people as well.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
feel more in the room with them.
Yeah.
Because some movies are just I
You
don't
feel more
know.
present, but it's like the new movies with the phones and stuff. You don't. There's something about it that just
Yeah, it
feels
feels weird.
weird. Yeah.
But so we'll go over the plot and we'll just go like section by section and then talk about that section a little bit. So it starts off with an unseen man climbs the exterior of a sorority house during a Christmas party and hides in the attic. The house receives an obscene phone call from someone the sorority sisters call the Moaner, who threatens to kill them. Upset, Claire Harrison goes into her room to pack but is murdered by the intruder. The next day, Claire's father arrives, concerned about her disappearance, and the sorority members attempt to report it to the police. Initially dismissed, their concerns are taken seriously after Claire's boyfriend, Chris, demands action. So it was a good beginning. I like the beginning.
So it starts with the unseen man climbing the exterior of the house. I think that
Yeah.
was like one of the big things that must have inspired like John Carpenter and stuff. The like first person view
Yeah.
of the murderer or whatever.
So the beginning of John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween starts off with the POV of Michael going through the house, killing the babysitter. Or, yeah, the babysitter. I think it was babysitter.
Yeah.
And yeah, Black Christmas is the one who actually initially started that POV from the beginning of the movie with Billy.
Yeah, so it didn't seem super like cool or anything, but I'm imagining for its time that was kind of a cool, innovative thing.
Definitely.
The part that like was annoying me during the movie was Claire's father not really showing much reaction to her being
Oh yeah,
missing.
he was like a
I
dud.
don't understand what was going on with his character. I don't think it was the actor. I think it was like a character flaw. He was just like the quiet father that doesn't show
Yeah.
any emotion. But
His
it was
writing wasn't right.
it was just weird. It was I don't know. I feel like she was missing, and people around him, like some of the sorority members, are saying like, just admit it, like she's dead or something, and he just
Yeah.
like doesn't react. I feel like if your daughter was missing and someone
It's
said she's
weird.
dead, you'd be like, what? Shut up! Like no, don't say that. You know, you'd have some sort of reaction, but he just didn't react to anything ever, and didn't even talk to the police. Really, it was all the sorority sisters
Yeah, yeah. And-
doing everything.
but yeah, he was a good act. Like he was a good actor, but yeah, his writing was way off.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
was
just, it just didn't feel like he was. It felt like
Didn't
more
feel
he
like
was a
he gave a
cop or
shit.
something. Like
Yeah, I was
maybe a
like-
second cop on the job, and he's just like there, about to retire, so he's kind of like leaning low. Like that's how I felt. His character was more than a father, far from a father.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt weird about it.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
seemed stupid.
But yeah, and Claire Harrison is the first to get murdered by Billy in this movie. And yeah, she's just upstairs. She's packing up, and I think he comes from behind her and just puts a bag over her head, suffocates her. And then throughout the movie, it's kind of creepy because he keeps her in the attic with him, and she's just rocking on the chair back and forth, all
Yeah.
like dead.
But like right
dead.
next to the window, so I'm surprised it wasn't
Yeah.
like visible from outside. Or maybe,
Maybe
it
it
kind of
was a little
but
bit, but
nobody looked.
nobody looked. And if
Yeah.
people look, they're either like it's a weird thing or can't really see it that well.
Like a
Even if
doll
you
in
could
the
see it
attic,
that
or-
well, yeah, you probably think it's just a doll in the attic.
Yeah.
It's super strange.
Obviously.
Yeah, read it. Yeah.
As the search party begins, house mother Mrs. McHenry discovers Claire's body in the attic, but is killed before she can warn anyone. Meanwhile, Jess, one of the sisters, receives another disturbing phone call and reports it to the police. Lieutenant Fuller taps the phone to trace the caller. While Christmas carolers visit the house, the killer murders Barb, another sorority sister, with a glass unicorn. Her cries drowned out by the singing. Suspicion falls on Jess's boyfriend, Peter, due to clues in the calls. Yeah, because there was this whole thing where Jess, I guess it's not a weird thing, but Jess is pregnant and is dating this guy named Peter, tells him, and then he's like, oh, that's great, and she's like, well, I'm not going to keep the baby, and he's like pleading with her to keep the baby and that they'll get married and all this stuff.
That
And
guy was so
she's
weird.
in university, she's like, I have a life that I want to live, like I'm going to do this, and then he obviously feels different, or he's auditioning for some pianist
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and he bombs. So I think because his trajectory didn't go the way he thought, he's like, oh, okay, I'll just grab onto this thing, like we're
Yeah.
gonna have a baby, so we'll just do that. And she's like, just because your thing didn't work out doesn't mean I'm your fallback. Like
Yeah.
I have stuff to do, which I thought that was really interesting because it's an old movie, and they're touching on abortion. I imagine that was a touchy subject back then, so it
In the
seems
early 70s or mid 70s. Yeah.
yeah. So like I know
1974.
horror movies are already talking about murder and stuff. Like it's already kind of like I don't want to say it's taboo, but like murder's already bad, but then to talk about abortion, it's like a
Mm.
whole other kind of thing. So it seems
And he was pressy
interesting.
too, which is like really bad. Like he's
Yeah.
pressy, like he's like that dominant alpha. He's
Yeah.
like, you do what I say.
You
If I want to have the
exactly,
baby, you
yeah.
have the baby.
So that was really interesting that they threw that in there. And
Yeah.
a political
And his acting
thing
was good.
in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Again,
acting was
both actors were really
Yeah.
good, especially his actually. Like because I was like, oh, I want to punch the guy in the face, such a dick. But that proves
That's
that
good,
his acting
yeah.
is good. Yeah, like he brought it out. So yeah, the search party begins for the missing girl, the daughter of the guy who's wandering around the house all lost.
I found that. What did you think about the calls?
So yeah, I like the calls. I thought they were creepy. I like how they went with this moany, blah, 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 like weird thing because the guy is definitely nuts, like to a point where he can't even have a normal conversation. I think with somebody, he seems to be really out of whack. We know nothing about him from the beginning to the end, which is this craziest
Yeah,
part.
I
Like we don't
actually
know
really
if he
like
has Down syndrome. We don't know if he's challenged. We don't know if he's just a serious. Well, like sometimes he sounds like he's got like, you know, somebody who has something wrong with them who wasn't taken care of, and now it's just gotten to a point where it's just a mess, a total disaster, right? And that's what's kind of scary too, because like you could tell this guy's totally off his rocker, and I think he wants to be caught. We don't like. We'll get to the end, but we don't know if he gets caught or not at the end. But I think he wants it because he's in the house, like he's in the attic waiting. So I think he wants to be caught at the end, which is kind of crazy too. But again, like it's all speculation. We'll never know like the true meaning of who or why Billy did what he did. We don't even know who really Billy was. We never see his face.
I don't understand
Once in the movie.
because during the calls there's like a woman's voice and
That's him.
yeah, but it doesn't sound like it
I
sounds,
know.
and it sounds too good, and it's
Yeah.
and it's like he's talking about all the stuff that kind of pertains to Jess. Like it's kind of weird. He's like talking about like the baby, and he even like
'Cause
names.
he's in the house
I'm pretty
the
sure.
whole time, right?
Yeah, but
So he
she
heard
didn't.
all these
She didn't say it
conversations
in
a
the
little bit.
house at that point. She told him when he was doing his
But
practicing
weren't
the
they
piano.
talking with the
stuff.
girls and all that? Didn't she have that discussion with her
She
friends
didn't
in
tell
the house?
them. She didn't tell the girls that she
Oh,
was
I thought-
pregnant.
I thought she
No,
did.
we found out when she told her boyfriend
Yeah.
Peter when he was doing his piano thing, and then later on she went back to the house, but he did the phone call before.
He must have found out some way though, because I don't think he has anything to do with.
It was just like so
With her.
exact, and it was like it wasn't even just like, you know, there's a baby inside of you. It was like, what are you gonna do? It was very much playing on all of her fears and everything. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it knew something
Yeah.
more. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Like all these little pieces made me think like, I don't understand who this murderer is. Like, is he like smarter than he's playing on because he
Yeah.
knows all these things? Like it was kind of weird. Because that's kind of how they made you think it could have been Peter's, because they
Yeah,
brought
that's
out
what
so
I thought it
many
was at the
clues
beginning.
and
Yeah.
stuff about things that she said, because there
Yeah.
were things she only said to Peter,
Yeah, exactly.
which
Yeah.
seemed strange. Anyway, I just thought it was weird, and I didn't really find the calls that. Maybe it was my mindset, because like, I just didn't feel like creeped out at all. Like, but I didn't feel like the calls were that menacing. Like obviously they were. Like the killer was like, "I'm gonna kill you" at one point. He did say that, but at the beginning it was just the weird moaning and stuff, and I was just like. I don't know. I didn't really find it that
Yeah.
creepy or weird, but
I didn't find it creepy at the
maybe I was just
beginning.
being detached. I don't know.
For me, it got creepier as the movie went on. Like near the
Yeah.
end when he was doing it, and I knew who
Yeah.
he was now, like this crazy killer. I was like, oh, this is really like unnerving now. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, no, I didn't feel that. I was just like,
Especially
it's just a weird.
The sorority house. It's
Yeah.
like, of course, there's probably like a bunch of frat guys playing a joke on
Yeah,
you because
being
you're a bunch
freaks
of
and all that, yeah.
girls. Like, come on.
So at the beginning,
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. But yeah, near the end, I was like, whoa, like it's pretty.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy. And then that's another. I think I'm pretty sure that's another. Scream took the phone calls.
Oh yeah.
You know, instead of doing that, there's like, what's your favorite scary movie? And it's like, you know, a just quick
Yeah.
little change, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
horror from a phone
So,
call, which
yeah.
is different. Yeah,
so
that's true.
but yeah. So then after the killer murders another sister, Phil. So he's already killed. He's killed Claire. He's killed Barb. He's killed Phil now. The phone tap reveals that the calls are coming. Oh, he's actually killed more people than here now. I think he's killed a few more people, but
He killed that Mrs.
yeah, the Mrs.
McHenry.
Oh yeah,
the
Mrs.
host mother.
McHenry with the hook. Yeah, that was a good death.
Yeah.
That was he just kind of just swung this. I don't know why
Yeah.
there was a hook in the basement, actually, or in the attic. I don't know what that was for.
No.
Maybe that was for like, it goes down into that hole and then it like pulls things up like a dolly.
And like how
Up the
that killed
thing.
her, like I feel like it would have to, if you
Yeah,
hit someone with that,
no,
like it would
yeah.
just like puncture you a bit, and you'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
frig,
yeah.
like pull it out, but it like
That's what I love
completely
about old movies.
mutilate.
Though.
I know,
You
it's
could do
mutilation.
that type of stuff and you get away with it because it
Punch
looks.
someone and their head explodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Jason back in the day. It was hilarious. We should watch some of those Friday the 13th. But yeah, so after the killer murders sister Phil, the phone tap reveals that the calls are coming from inside the house. Massive urban legend. Jess discovers her friend's dead and encounters the killer but escapes to the basement. Peter arrives and tries to console Jess, but in a panic, she kills him, believing he is the murderer. The police find Jess unconscious and assume Peter was the killer, leaving her to rest while posting an officer
outside, like
Oh.
he waited outside. I thought this was weird, and I even said this when we were watching it, but when Jess went into the basement to hide, so the killer was upstairs somewhere, and Jess went into the basement to hide, and then Peter, the boyfriend who was like, don't have an abortion, came running up to the window and like,
Oh, so weird.
he like broke in or something
Yeah,
somehow.
so like he's like, Jess, and then just smashes the basement
Yeah,
glass. I was like, dude's gonna break a window and he doesn't know what's going on. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't
he
know
has
there's a killer.
no idea what's
No,
going
he's just
on.
gonna break
And
this glass.
How does he know she's in the basement?
Yeah,
How?
I
That doesn't
think
make any
okay.
sense.
I think that's just. I think it's near the end of the movie now, and maybe they're like maybe in a bit of a rush. Stuff
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
something obviously
Yeah.
happened because that doesn't
that
make sense.
that part it didn't flow with the movie. It still flows with the movie, but yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't
though.
make
Like
sense.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, it just doesn't make sense. Like why he's
It
trying to get
makes-
into the basement, why he would just break the glass without knowing that she's in danger.
It makes sense if he was the murderer.
It's like
Because
me
the murderer
coming
was
to like
upstairs.
it's like let's
To
say
find
we,
me,
yeah,
and
let's
you
say
go
we
to
live,
the basement.
Let's say I come home one day and like everything's
door's locked.
fine, everything's totally
But they
fine.
locked the door,
But the
so-
door's locked, so I decide to go to the basement and be like, babe, babe, like it
And
makes no
break
sense,
in,
yeah.
and you're like determined that I'm down there.
Because so
Like, no, I'm upstairs. I
so
just
that
locked
part
the
was
door.
kind of strange, but otherwise, it wasn't him. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
but he
wasn't him.
sucks, so he deserves to die. I'm
Yeah,
fine with
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think she
It's
shoots
fine.
him or something, or
Uh,
forget now.
Yeah, I think she had a
I
gun.
don't know actually. Where did she get a gun?
I just
from?
remember her laying there, and he's like on her, and she's like,
Yeah, I think stabs him or
I
something. Kills him
forget-
somehow,
forget.
but he dies. As Jess sleeps, the killer remains hidden in the attic with the bodies of Claire and Miss Mack. His voice echoes from above, and the phone begins to ring again, leaving the fate of the remaining sorority sisters anonymous or ominously unresolved. The chilling ending solidifies the film's legacy as a pioneer slasher with an eerie, ambiguous conclusion. But this is what I really loved about Black Christmas, because I don't think a lot of horror movies have been able to do this, where they have a killer and we don't know anything. Like just absolutely nothing. We don't know why.
Yeah.
We don't know who. We don't know where he came from. We don't even see his face. We don't nothing.
But it-
Absolute zero.
well, there's like enough
All we
that
know
like
is his name's Billy, and we
there
don't
is
even know if that's
enough that
true.
we know where he was, and we know that he's
Well, he's in
doing
the
phone
attic.
calls. Yeah, I know, but it's enough that it's not like so mysterious that you're like, I have no idea what's going on. How are people dying?
Oh no, yeah, I didn't. No, I mean like
I
we
just
don't
mean
know
like
the
that's
killer.
good. Like it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's the perfect amount of information and
Yeah.
perfect amount of lack of information.
Yeah.
That you
I
like
liked
have
it.
a rough idea, but you don't feel the need to like.
Yeah.
Man, I wish they told me more. It's like, yeah, I kind of wish they do, but not in a way that I'm like mad about it.
Yeah, a lot of my inspiration, which I never really thought of though, but like a lot when I write my horror movies, I like to have my bad guys as people who you don't know much about or why or anything like that, because I feel like a lot of horror
ruins
movies,
it.
like with Michael, it's like as the movies progress, we need to know that it's his sister and it's this and it's that, and same with Scream, he's got like a whole backstory to all the different killers who play the Scream thing, but every character has a little bit of backstory, but Billy has no backstory, and it's super cool. It's like, there's no reason for him to do what he's doing. He's just doing what he's doing because he wants to do it, and it's
Yeah.
like, what? That's
I mean, there
sick.
could be a reason, but we just don't know.
Yeah. I don't even think there's, but
it's
with
fine.
him, I don't think there's a reason. Like,
I think the focus
I think he
is
just
more on the
chose this house
victims.
on the night, and yeah, he's just having a fun time, and he's just a little fucked up.
I don't think it's fun for him. It doesn't seem like a fun thing, though. It just seems like he's
Well, he's
something's
reliving
wrong.
something wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's reliving like
Because
some
he kept saying
past
something about a mother
trauma.
and like a baby.
That's probably why he went to a sorority, because he had mother problems. So he dealt.
Yeah,
So he wants
women.
to deal with the woman, and he goes to
Yeah.
a sorority, which is a great spot.
And then there was the little girl that got murdered, and she was found in the lake next to them. So maybe he
Oh
killed
yeah,
someone
yeah,
before
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he
Oh
just,
yeah, true. And probably on
something
his way
about
there.
girls and women. Yeah.
Yeah, probably on his way. He definitely had a problem with the women. You could hear it and see it in the movie.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the movie? What do you think
Um,
of Black Christmas from
It
1974?
was pretty good. I just really liked the visual of like the old, like I don't know, old cinematography and like the
Yeah.
graininess and stuff to
I like
it.
that too.
I like the aesthetic. I like their hair. I like their makeup. I like their outfits and stuff. I don't know. It's just nice.
Yeah.
And the acting again was really
Acting
good.
was great.
Some of the dialogue was like a little like, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's typical that it's a little weird because it's older, but
I like how the older lady kept finding alcohol bottles she had hid everywhere, even in the toilet.
in the back of the toilet.
That's
thing,
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was an enjoyable movie, and it had those characteristics that old movies have, where something like that, right? Like, just going into this washroom. I think the thing with old movies is also just the layout. Like, old homes are such a more
true.
pleasuring thing to see in the eye through a movie than
It's not white
these
walls
new modern,
and white kitchens.
which
There's
I'm not
like
a huge
more to
fan
look
of anyways.
at.
Yeah, exactly. There's like, you got red carpets and wood walls and
And there's more
wood
there
doors
was
and
literally
there's
red
character.
carpet
There's character.
and dark wood
Yeah.
staircases.
Now-
There's more rooms too, especially in the sorority. There were lots of
More
rooms,
rooms,
and
more
privacy,
objects.
more things to interact
More
with.
people were collectors, I think, back in the day. Everyone's
Yeah.
trying to be more
Like the
minimal now.
unicorn the girl got stabbed with. You wouldn't find that now. It'd be
No,
like, I'm gonna take your
yeah.
crock and I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. That's why the old movies. That's another reason I think those old movies hit a lot. Is
There's
just
just
the
more.
atmosphere around an
yeah.
old home is something a little bit more precious than the new ones. But yeah, I found some cool facts. We already went through the POV with Carpenter and all that. But so for the phone calls, Nick Mancuso, hey, that's my cousin who married into the family. His last name is hilarious. So
Mancuso?
yeah, Mancuso. So Nick Mancuso voiced the film's deranged killer Billy by standing on his head to compress his throat and make his voice sound more demented. Other actors, including Bob Clark, who is the writer and director, also recorded the phone calls. So that's kind of weird. I'm gonna. I wonder how it is. I never really talked standing upside down, so
Why didn't they
kinda wanna
just
try that.
like get someone to like press on their throat or
Yeah.
something like that instead
Or
of
get
standing
one
on
of
his
those
head?
people who like wreck their throat from smoking for so many years. It's so bad. I'm kidding. Do you want to read the next one? The influences.
Influences. The film was inspired by the urban legend The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs in a series of murders in Montreal, Quebec. It's considered one of the first slasher films and influenced John Carpenter's Halloween.
So yeah, there's the I guess the calls coming from inside the house. That whole urban legend. This is where they got that little rip from.
I guess there's murders in Montreal that happened. Maybe
Yeah,
it must
yeah.
be like babysitter murderers.
Yeah,
murders or
I
something.
forget. I was reading up on it, but I forget if they're
cool.
babysitters or not. But there was like a string of murders at the time that the film was inspired by.
I don't know if it's established, but we're in Canada, so that's why it's more interesting.
Yeah.
happening
Yeah, doesn't happen. Well, it does, but not a crazy amount here, or that we know
in
of.
Canada. Yeah, that we know of.
But then the ending, the film ends with Jess killing her boyfriend Peter, under the mistaken belief that he was the killer. The police leave her alone in the sorority with Billy, who is still alive and likely to kill her.
Oh yeah, because she's sleeping.
Yeah, she
After
goes back
the
in
whole
the
thing,
house.
they like put her in the bed, and the police are all there. It's so weird. The police are all there, and they're just like, "All right, well, let's go. We'll post someone up outside. And they post a police officer outside, and they all just leave this woman
Yeah.
in this house sleeping in a
After
bed
what she
after a
just went
bunch of
through.
people just got murdered.
And she
like,
killed somebody too.
And she killed somebody in this house. They just
So they
leave her.
drug her up and they throw her into the bed. They don't take her on the ambulance.
Did they
don't
drug
take her to
her
the
up?
hospital.
It's like she
yeah,
almost
they
just...
put something in her
Oh, yeah.
to calm her down because she was like, you know, whatever.
So stupid.
But
That
they just
would
left her
never
in her
happen.
own home in the own house where all the murders happened. Yeah,
Like,
so it was
just
like, yeah,
happened.
I think you'd get her out of there. But again, 1974. Truthfully, I don't know how cops dealt with
Yeah,
stuff back in the day. Maybe
that
they
was the
did
thing.
just
They were like,
leave
just
people there.
go back to your murder house. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Because back in the day, they were just like, "Psh, you
What
got
are we
this.
gonna do
And then the
about it?
people back in the day were like, yeah, I'm strong enough. I got this. We'll deal with it.
Okay.
But what would you rate the movie, though?
Oh, I guess 7.5.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'd give
Yeah.
it roughly the same. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I thought the acting was good. Cinematography was great. I love old movies. And not all old movies are great, but like, you know, the ones that are done well are just so fun to watch and you don't get bored of it like I do with some movies.
Yeah,
like
I didn't get bored watching it.
Yeah, I was watching some Netflix movie yesterday and I forget what it was, but it was terrible though.
It
so
was
bad.
the
Anna Grace,
Anna Grace
Possession.
something.
Was
yeah.
not fun to watch. It just
So,
wasn't that fun to watch.
yeah, it was awful.
Oh yeah, let's see what others reviewed this. I forgot to get that information here.
I'm gonna guess other people loved it because it's an old movie and it looks like it inspired a lot of people. So it seems like it's gonna be one of those like cult classic things.
It
Even though
definitely became
I've
a cult
never
classic.
had really heard of it, to be honest.
No?
I'd only
It-
heard of it when we
It's
did the
funny, yeah.
the Thrillama
The
thing and
Thrillama,
they
yeah.
showed a trailer.
Black Christmas does go under the radar for horror movies, even though it is like one of the biggest influencers to horror movies. So IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes a 70%, so basically exactly the same. And where's the Google? Where's the Google likes? Some of my favorite ones.
No Google reviews?
Oh, yeah, there's like no Google reviews for this
Weird.
one. This is weird.
Maybe because it's so old.
No, there's just.
Mm.
Oh, there it is. 4.2. 4.2. That's about an
Oh,
80%.
out of 5. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 80% there. Maybe even 90. So yeah, it did pretty good. It did very well. I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen Black Christmas, to go watch it. They did make a remake. I forget when the remake was. It was like 2019. No, I don't think it was that new.
Yeah, but it was something
It
in the
wasn't that
2000s.
new. It was 2016.
Oh, 2016.
There's a bunch of them actually. 2000.
2021.
Here,
There's
let me just
stuff
type
coming
in
up
Black
on the
Christmas.
suggested. We're not sure which one it is.
1974 and 2006. That's what it was.
But
And there is another one, 2019. I guess
my
they made
God.
another one. They just should stop. Of course, it's like they're just gonna keep on trying to do it because of the money. But yeah, so Black Christmas is a 2019 slasher, directed by Sophia, part of the Black Christmas series. What is going on in the Black Christmas series? Oh yeah, so there's just
Produced
a bunch
by
of them going on
Bob
here.
Clark. Oh, that's the old
So
one.
there's 3 of them. So there's the Black Christmas from 1974, Black Christmas 2006, and Black Christmas 2019. I watched 2006. I didn't like it. Never watched 2019. I didn't even know about that one. I'm guessing it's
Probably
terrible. All right, guys. So the camera cut out for a second. So I don't know where we were. But we're pretty much ending it now. Both liked Black Christmas. Definitely recommend it. And where do we watch it again?
I don't know how you found it, to be honest.
It was free somewhere. Tubi. It's free on Tubi. Tubi is the greatest. I love Tubi.
pretty good,
If you're a horror fan, definitely get Tubi. It's free. You can watch free movies there. Say it again. It's free.
It's free.
It's 2025 almost, and it's free, so that's amazing. But there are ads, though. But whatever. But yeah, that's where we watched it. So yeah, all right, guys. That's the end of this one. Hopefully, we're back next week. We're really busy, but we're gonna try and fit in one more Christmas movie. And yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Peace.